Imagine waking up tomorrow, sitting down at your computer and realizing it already knows what you're going to do. Not because you told it, not because you typed a single word, but because it watched you yesterday, and the day before, and the day before that. It took screenshots every few seconds. It read your emails. It tracked what you searched, what you deleted, what you hesitated on, and it stored all of that quietly, invisibly, in a searchable database on your own machine. That's not science fiction. That's a feature Microsoft actually built. And they called it Recall. This is the story of how the most personal device in your life is slowly becoming the most invasive one. This is the story of Windows 12 and what it means for every single person who uses a computer. For decades, the relationship between you and your computer was simple. You gave it a command, it obeyed. You clicked, it responded. You closed it, it waited. The computer was yours, completely, unconditionally yours. It didn't have opinions. It didn't have memory. It didn't watch. That relationship is changing, and most people have no idea it's already happening. Microsoft has been quietly, systematically building something new. Something that doesn't just run your apps or store your files. Something that learns you. Something that observes you. And with Windows 12, that project is reaching a turning point that privacy advocates, security researchers, and millions of everyday users are genuinely afraid of. To understand why, you have to go back a few years, to when the warning signs first appeared. It started small. Windows 10 introduced something called Telemetry, a background system that sends data about how you use your computer back to Microsoft. What apps you open, how long you use them, when your system crashes, when it doesn't. Microsoft said it was for improving the experience, for fixing bugs, for making Windows better, and maybe some of it was, but buried inside Windows 10 was a setting called Full Telemetry, and in that mode, Microsoft could collect an enormous amount of information about your activity. Not just crash logs, not just hardware specs, detailed behavioral data, usage patterns, what you clicked, how long you stayed on something. Most users never noticed. Most users never changed it. And that was kind of the point. Then came Windows 11. Suddenly, you needed a Microsoft account just to set up a new computer. No local account by default. No offline setup. Not without jumping through hidden menus and typing fake email addresses into workarounds that Microsoft tried to close, one by one. Your computer was no longer something you simply turned on. It was something you had to log into, something connected to an identity Microsoft could track across sessions, across devices, across years. Users started feeling it. Something was shifting. The computer wasn't fully theirs anymore. And then Microsoft announced something that made the whole tech world stop cold. Recall. In May 2024, Microsoft unveiled a feature for a new class of Windows computers called Copilot Plus PCs. And at the center of this new experience was Recall, an AI feature that takes screenshots of everything you do on your computer every few seconds. Every app, every website, every document, every private message, every photo you open, every search you run. All of it captured, all of it analyzed, all of it stored locally in a searchable database, so that later you could ask your computer something like, "What was that recipe I looked at last Tuesday?" And it would find it, because it remembered, because it was watching the whole time. Microsoft framed this as a superpower, a perfect memory for your digital life. But the reaction from the security community was immediate and visceral. Within days of the announcement, researchers were already asking the obvious questions. If everything you do is captured in a searchable database on your device, what happens when that device gets hacked? What happens when malware accesses that database? What happens when someone gets physical access to your machine? What happens when a domestic abuser, or a stalker, or a vindictive employer gets hold of your laptop? One researcher built a tool in a weekend, a simple proof of concept, that could silently extract the entire Recall database and send it anywhere. Every screenshot, every piece of text, every private thing you'd ever done on that machine, gone in minutes. Microsoft delayed the feature. Then they made it opt-in. Then they encrypted the database. But the damage to trust was already done. Because here's what people realized. This feature existed. Someone at Microsoft designed it, approved it, and proudly announced it at a press event. This is the direction they're going. This is what they think computing should look like. And that changes everything. Here's something most people don't know about how AI features like Recall actually work. AI doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It needs to be fed constantly. Large language models, the kind that power Copilot, the AI assistant now deeply embedded in Windows, learn from enormous amounts of human behavior. They improve by analyzing patterns. They get smarter by observing more. So when Microsoft builds AI features that watch your screen, read your documents, learn your writing style, understand your schedule, and track what you search, that's not just a convenience feature. That's data. That's training material. That's the raw fuel that makes their AI systems more powerful. And here's the uncomfortable question. Nobody in the press is asking loudly enough, whose computer is running this AI? Yours, on your hardware, with your electricity, processing your most private moments. And who benefits from the AI getting smarter? Microsoft. The new generation of Windows PCs, or the Copilot Plus machines, come with something called an NPU, a neural processing unit. It's a chip specifically designed to run AI tasks locally, without sending data to the cloud. And Microsoft presents this as a privacy win. See? It's all on your device. We're not uploading your data. But having it on your device doesn't mean it's not being collected, it doesn't mean it's not being used, and it doesn't mean Microsoft can't access it through updates, diagnostics, or future features they haven't announced yet. The local vs cloud distinction is real, but it's also a distraction. The deeper issue isn't where the data lives, it's that the data exists at all. Let's talk about Copilot for a moment, because Copilot is everywhere now. It's in the taskbar, it's in the right-click menu, it's in Microsoft Word, it's in Teams, it's in Outlook. It's the AI assistant Microsoft is building into the bones of Windows itself. And with every update, it goes deeper. Copilot can summarize your emails. It can rewrite your documents. It can answer questions about files on your computer. It can look at what's on your screen and comment on it. In theory, it's helpful. In practice, it's an AI agent with access to your most sensitive personal and professional information. And here's where it gets complicated. When Copilot summarizes your email, where does that happen? When it rewrites your document, what does it send to Microsoft servers? When it sees your screen, is any of that transmitted? Microsoft's privacy policies are long, dense, and written by lawyers. They're not written for people. They're written to technically cover Microsoft while practically telling you nothing useful. Most users don't read them. Most users click, I agree, and move on. And by the time they realize what they've consented to, that consent has already been given and used. Now imagine this compounds over time. Right now, Windows still has settings you can turn off. You can disable Copilot, you can opt out of most telemetry, you can create a local account, you can run Windows mostly offline. It's annoying and requires technical knowledge most people don't have, but it's possible. What happens in 5 years? What happens when Windows 12 has been fully deployed, when Copilot is no longer an optional feature but the primary interface, when the traditional desktop is considered a legacy mode, buried under menus most users will never find? What happens when the AI is so deeply integrated that turning it off means losing core functionality? What happens when the computer doesn't just offer suggestions, but requires your engagement with the AI to complete basic tasks? What happens when opting out is no longer a choice Microsoft is willing to offer? This isn't a paranoid fantasy. This is the documented roadmap. Microsoft's own executives have described a future where AI is ambient, where it's always there, always aware, always running in the background. They've described Copilot not as an app, but as a layer that exists underneath everything else. An operating system that watches you, remembers you, and someday, maybe, has a voice in what you can and cannot do. Your computer, but not quite yours anymore. And this is the moment where millions of people are starting to look elsewhere. Linux, an open source operating system that most people have heard of but never tried, has been quietly growing. The numbers aren't dramatic yet, but the trend is real. More people searched for how to switch to Linux in the months after the recall announcement than in any previous period. Developer forums, privacy communities, tech subreddits, the conversation shifted, not just among hardcore privacy advocates, but among ordinary people who just felt something was wrong. Something crossed a line they couldn't explain precisely but felt clearly. Because this isn't really a technical debate, it's a philosophical one. It's about what your computer is for. Is it a tool that serves you? Or is it a platform that observes you, learns from you, and sells that understanding back to you as convenience? For decades, computing felt personal. It felt like something that belonged to you. The machine on your desk was yours, the files on it were yours. What you did on it was private, because privacy was the default. That default is being reversed, and the people who built these systems are hoping you won't notice, or that by the time you do, it'll feel too late to care. But it's not too late, not even close. Here's what you can actually do right now to take your computer back. The first thing, if you're on Windows 11 or a Copilot Plus PC, is to check whether recall is enabled. Go to your settings, search for recall, and if it's there, turn it off. Delete any stored snapshots. Microsoft made it opt-in after the backlash, but some systems may still have it enabled by default after updates. Check it. Don't assume. Next, your account. If you're using a Microsoft account to sign into Windows, switch to a local account. You'll lose some sync features, but you'll also stop feeding your login behavior, your app usage, and your file access patterns into Microsoft's cloud profile. Go to Settings, Accounts, Your Info, and look for Sign in with a local account instead. It's buried, but it's there. Telemetry is next. Windows sends usage data to Microsoft by default. You can reduce this significantly. Go to Settings, Privacy and Security, Diagnostics and Feedback, and set it to the lowest level available. On Windows 11, that's required instead of optional. It won't stop all data collection outcome, but it will meaningfully reduce it. Copilot can be disabled. On Windows 11, you can remove the Copilot button from the taskbar by right-clicking it. Some versions let you uninstall the Copilot app entirely. Third-party tools like Winero Tweaker give you even finer control over which Microsoft AI features are running in the background. For users who want to go deeper, there are debloating scripts specifically designed for Windows 11. Tools like Win11 Debloat on GitHub that automate the removal of pre-installed apps, telemetry services, and Microsoft's more aggressive data collection components. These are powerful, but should be used carefully. Always on a test machine first, always with a backup. And if you use Microsoft 365, be aware that the AI features in Word, Excel, and Outlooks, the ones that help you write, may be sending your document content to Microsoft's servers for processing. You can disable Copilot in Office apps individually through the account settings within each application. For the privacy-focused and technically curious, Windows can be used in a significantly more private configuration with the right setup. A local account, reduced telemetry, disabled Copilot, a debloated install, a good firewall, and a VPN will not make Windows perfectly private, but it will make it dramatically less invasive than the default. And then there's Linux. If you've never tried it, now is a genuinely good time. Distributions like Linux Mint and Ubuntu are designed to feel familiar to Windows users. They run on almost any hardware. They're completely free. They have no telemetry by default. No AI watching your screen, no mandatory accounts, no subscription model looming on the horizon. They're not perfect. Gaming support and certain professional software can be complicated, but for everyday computing, they've never been more capable or more relevant. The learning curve is real, but so is the payoff. On Linux, your computer is yours again, fully, completely, without asterisks. Here's the honest truth about where all of this is going. Microsoft is a company worth trillions of dollars. The AI race is the most competitive technology battle in human history. The pressure they're under to monetize Windows, to justify their massive investment in OpenAI, to keep shareholders happy, to compete with Google and Apple, that pressure is enormous. And that pressure is pointing in one direction, toward more AI, more integration, more data collection, more subscription revenue. The trend lines are clear. Each Windows update embeds the AI a little deeper. Each privacy setting gets a little harder to find. Each opt-out requires a little more technical knowledge. The friction is not accidental. The friction is the strategy. At some point, and nobody knows exactly when, the balance tips. At some point, opting out may no longer be a feature Microsoft is willing to support. At some point, the AI inside your operating system may not be something you can turn off any more than you can turn off the screen itself. That point hasn't arrived yet. You still have choices. The tools to opt out exist and they work, but the window may not stay open forever. There's a question that has been haunting privacy advocates, security researchers, and thoughtful technologists for years now, and it's this. At what point does a computer stop being your computer? When it runs software you didn't choose? When it collects data you didn't authorize? When it learns behaviors you didn't consent to teach? When it remembers things you wanted to forget? When does the device that's supposed to serve your life become something that's quietly, systematically studying it? We are living through the moment when that question stops being theoretical. The machine on your desk is getting smarter. It's getting more capable. It's getting better at understanding you than you might understand yourself. And the company that controls it has very specific ideas about what that machine should do next. Maybe you're fine with it. Maybe the trade feels worth it. The convenience, the assistance, the AI that helps you write and search and organize and remember. Or maybe, just maybe, you're sitting here thinking that the most powerful computer in history should be answering to you, not the other way around. The choice is still yours. Make it consciously, make it now, before the moment comes when it no longer is.